guys, hope you're doing well. Gold really pumped, so we're going to start with that, and it's highly interesting because it's kind of like the ultimate hindsight trade. Because I was saying how this was going to be a long, with a stop at 1979. Look at that; it would have been probably the best trade ever had we had taken it. The thing is, Monday chopped me around, and I got stopped out with a tiny loss. Now, if I just sort of remained a little bit more disciplined and stuck to the system, because we know it's a good system, we would have made a ridiculous risk to reward. I've got no idea what that would be. It would be like, it would almost be like a 15-hour trade, if not more. So there was our stop loss. Okay, that was designated on the video that we published on Tuesday, and actually no, we would have got stopped out. Yeah, we might have got stopped out. So perhaps a little bit wider stop than than I said. We could have had it at 77. So that was quite naughty. This was a naughty one here. If we look at the order book, we would have seen like a change of positions there, and that would have indicated a trap. And that could have been a ruse in order to just to get these guys out, and that would have got us out as well. So while it was like a hindsight trade, it might have stopped us out. But it's just one of those things. We just have to have perhaps a slightly wider stop just to accommodate some naughtiness. But it shows that the crossover strategy works quite well. They went long, so it fell. The logic here, sorry, is that they sold it, so we came up, and then they went long, so we fell, and then that was the naughty bit. And I was wondering whether or not that was a stop hunt, but it clearly wasn't, because it wanted those stops up there, and it's 2080 was the SLC, which is crazy, and that would have destroyed a hell of a lot of people, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of retail traders on that move. There was a lot of bears, still a lot of bears left, which is quite amazing, really. 75%, 25%, right? So we're quite skewed for more upside. So we probably should be drawing a box, but we need to wait for the new hour. But this will be a support because they've sold it. So we can potentially come up higher because we're so skewed. All right, so be careful. It could be a good long, as long as you know where your stop is, 2033. You'd wait for the new hour, and this is going to be a support, okay? So while I said that was going to be a good trade, that would have actually got us out. But it just goes to show, it does work quite well. They sold it, so we came up. Then we sort of chopped around and consolidated, and then just dipped into where that stop loss was going to be. So going forward, like next week or whenever, we'll just have to accommodate a slightly larger stop than anticipated, and that would have been probably one of the best trades ever in the QDB service. Okay, so it's a great example of the crossover, and there's the buy trigger here. All right, and then that's why it pumped, but then we consolidated, and then they sold. So that was the agreement of the big picture. The dynamic flow agreed with the big pictures that we were buy, and then they sold strongly. Pump. All right. So the indices are looking quite bearish right now, technically, but remember, sentimentally, we are a buy in the big picture. So what's happening is that they're selling it, and so this is fake. This is a phony candle, or this is what I said in Discord, is that there's a debt ceiling crisis that's actually going to be legit, and the banking crisis, is looming as well. So it's all down to it's not down to Fed. It's not down to the Fed whether or not they're going to resolve this debt ceiling crisis. It's down to the government. So it's down to Biden and his cronies whether or not they can resolve it. And I don't see it's going to ever be an issue, because there never has been an issue. They've always raised their debt ceiling, but it might just be this one time because of the poor government, maybe, and that's why it's causing some issues. He's not really like the greatest leader, and so perhaps there is like legitimate worries about the debt ceiling. It's one of those things. It's hard to say. It could be legit fear, and it might mean that these retail guys get paid. potentially, because there are bigger things in the equation like the fundamental flows and things, and retail sentiment is a really really powerful indicator, but there are other things involved, especially fundamentals and things. So sentimentally speaking, in a vacuum, just looking at sentiment, this should be a support, and we should probably draw a box because we'll come back to it tomorrow, and this should be a support. So this is actually phony if we look at the sentiment on its own, but there's other fundamental things in play. All right, so this is fake if we look at the sentiment, and this is going to be a support for a bounce higher. This is going to be a resistance though, so we'll probably potentially be above that box, but then we'll hit into a little bit of a brick wall, and we might just chop, and then we'll have to see how we go. So it could be that there's legitimate fears. See, we're wicking ever so slightly now. Like I say, this is probably fake. Okay, so 4098, 483. So this is a phony candle, right? And that's just because of that. We know that it's phony because of this. Okay, sentimentally speaking, all right. So there are other things in play. I can't remember if we've done DAX or not. I'm tired today. Right, so that's fine. That's okay. We had multiple respects. It looks like we just had to break it. Now we're back in that box again. So we can elongate this box, perhaps. We might have to draw another one. I'll need to tidy these charts up a bit and remove the boxes. But you can see what's happened. And yeah, we had to break it, didn't we? Likewise, Bitcoin did something very similar yesterday. I was looking at it on the 1 minute chart, and it was keeping breaking the lows in order to pump. So it looks like it was Bitcoin was doing like a stop pump, and this might have been a stop pump as well. So if I was trading this, that would probably got me out, because I know that this is a decent zone, and that might have stopped me out at a loss. So yeah, let's see how we go. Remember, we are very much a buy. However, they're going long, so therefore we fell, and that's probably enough move to quantify that. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in the next half an hour. It's possible, we're going to come up, and then they're going to try and short it. All right, which kind of makes sense that they would. It looks quite bearish, doesn't it? So it can come up. They're looking right. We're going to sell this, and if they do it en masse, this will be a good support, and then we'll pump higher. Like US 30, we can have a bit of resistance overhead. Note that we pumped right into it and then fell. So this is fine. Actually, yeah, no, this has been a little bit naughty because they're currently getting paid on this, but they might sell it. That's the tricky thing, isn't it? And started with gold, didn't we? US 30. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be fake. So keep an eye on those wicks, and we can draw a box. And on the weekend, I need to tidy these boxes up as well. Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, what we should normally do is wait for the new hour, and then we can map the box. But I'm not going to be around much today because I'm going to be doing my testing. So I can't focus on trading and testing at the same time. It doesn't really work that well. And so yeah, this is fake because they've sold it. So we shouldn't be coming down. We have to be coming up because they've sold it. So this is fake. US 500 should be fake. And it looks like we're wicking, which is perfect. So it goes to show the sentiment is amazing, right? So it should continue higher. And DAX is being slightly naughty, but we have got some technical supports. And that could have been a stop punt. Like I say, that would have got me out personally because I'm looking at this box, right? And that's I've gone long, so it fell, and then we consolidated. So we've got a turncoat resistance, now support. So that would have been an important level for me had I been trading this particular instrument, and that might have got me out at a loss. So perhaps the retail traders are looking at something similar. They're looking left on that consolidation. It looks like it just worked just to take them out potentially. So I have to wait and see. We have to look at the bubbles. We could maybe do the bubbles actually. I don't know what that's done now, that's strange. You'll quickly look at the bubbles and we'll just see what's going on. So yen is strong, which is interesting, and the pound is the weakest. Note CAD and USD are in the strong sell section, but they're most long the pound across time. So we have to look at pound yen, and then so that's how you do it. It's very very simple, and right. So perhaps we could wait for a break of 169.22 and with a stop here at 169.56. Fairly happy with that because it's quite a tight stop, and so this is potentially fake. We have to remember though, if the indices are going to pump, which it looks like they might, according to our just the analysis that we've done, it's potential that this is going to do quite well because this is quite a risky currency pair, and it's indicative of risk on, risk off flows. So if we do go risk on the indices, which it looks like we might, this can fare quite well. So perhaps we can monitor it, and this would be our trade of the day, but I'm not sure because of the sentimental logics that we could be risk on today, and this could do fairly well, and it might mean that the retail guys get paid, which we can see on that failure rate. It's quite low, so we should be falling on GJ. But overall, is that the retail guys are getting paid a little bit. They're getting destroyed in yen, and it's sort of 50-50 on pound. So yeah, we'll have a look at GJ, and we could have a look for a trade here, but it would probably mean that we get stopped out because we might go risk on the indices, and then this will pump and it will join those risk on flows. So bear with me, and then I'll have a look at this perhaps in 25 minutes, and we'll publish something, and we'll just have to see if it's going to be a valid trade. It's possible this is going to go higher, and it will mean that it gets stopped out. But sentimentally, it should be falling. Fundamentally, it might be okay. All right. So yeah, bear with me for a bit, and then we'll have a look at this for our trade of the day.